Alright guys, so this week we're going to put together ISO, aperture, and shutter speed and talk about how they affect each other using the exposure triangle. So let's get started. Alright guys, so now that we've talked about all the elements that go into creating a perfect exposure, I want to talk about how you put all that together and you see how one affects the other. So there's what we call a exposure triangle, and it's just a triangle. You put each part of your exposure, so you have ISO, aperture, and shutter speed, and when you change one, it affects the other. So as you can see right here, the triangle has each part in a separate corner, and say when you make your aperture from 2.8, you go up to f4. Then you're going to have to drop your shutter speed in order to keep the same amount of light coming in and keep the same exposure. Now, this is all relative, and it depends what you're shooting, so these numbers don't always necessarily work in every situation, but it's something that you just need to practice and look at, and eventually you'll just know what to do. So in practicing this, you want to be in manual mode, which is the M on your dial, and that'll allow you to change the aperture, the ISO, and the shutter speed all by yourself, so you can practice knowing what makes a good exposure. So there's really not much to this. It's just this triangle, and you just need to practice it and just observe how when you change one thing, it'll affect the other, and so on. So just one more example. Say I was outside and my shutter speed was 1/50th of a second, and I wanted to get my aperture from 2.8 to f4. Then when I did that, I wouldn't be able to change my shutter speed down, because then that would introduce blur into my image, and that is not what we want. So what you're going to have to do is change the ISO, keep the exposure on the right level, and keep everything looking nice. So if you just study this and practice, that's all it's going to take, and this is something that you need to know. So switch your camera into manual and start practicing this, and you should be good. So that's it for this week, just a really quick video. And follow me on Twitter at Gonzo3303. Comment on this video, like this video, that'd be awesome, and subscribe. So I'll see you guys next week for your photo tip of the week, and yeah, see ya.